Well, you know, we have some people who have been very, very patient standing here the whole time. So let's go ahead and get to the questions. Go ahead. What's your name?
Raya. Can't reach this. Hold on.
Hi, Rhea.
I'm not going to be able to reach this. I got to stand on my tippy toes.
If you pull it down like that, just... There you go.
That's better.
All right.
So you played Barry Allen in the original 90s show, and then you played Henry Allen in the new show, and Jay Garrick.
You forgot one. I was Professor Zoom in Batman the Brave and the Bold.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Which one was your favorite to play?
Oh, well, I've played Barry. You know, they've all been age appropriate. I certainly wouldn't want to play Barry. Well, I can't really say that, can I? You all have seen the promos. I was going to say I wouldn't want to play Barry Allen now, but I had to stop myself, didn't I? You all didn't hear any of that. Erase all of that, because we got a lot of surprises coming up. 100th episode, Tuesday night, December 4th, which sets up the crossover, which happens Flash Sunday night, Arrow Monday night, Supergirl Tuesday night, 9th, 10th, and 11th. But don't miss that 100th episode, because we have a big surprise for you in the tag. It may not be so much of a surprise now. Shut my mouth. Go ahead.
So out of those, which one did you like to play the most?
Well, this is a bit of a cop-out. You're going to call me on it. But the truth is, I liked playing Barry Allen then. It was my first primetime show. It was 28 years ago. You know, I was full of needing to prove myself in primetime. It was the most expensive show Warner Brothers had ever done. We had a third of the back lot at Warner Brothers. I had a parking space on the lot at Warner Brothers, which they had just... I'd come over Barham and I'd see those towers, Warner Brothers. I'm like, I have a parking space on that lot. So it was also physically the hardest thing that I've ever done, the number of hours. I couldn't do that now, you know? And then to use that experience to play Henry really folded nicely into that. And then to come back as the Golden Age Flash, which I was terrified to do. I thought, getting in another super, you want me to do what? But everybody was so supportive. When I stepped onto the set in the Jay Garrick costume, the crew broke out into applause. Everybody was so nice. They could tell I was very self-conscious, you know, running around in a superhero suit with 20-somethings on set, you know. But Grant brought the camera forward and turned the monitor around. He was like, see how great you look, see how great you look. So that's kind of how the show is. I don't know that I can pick a favorite, because I'll always treasure those early Henry Barry scenes. And yeah, what we have coming up for you is, well, you may see me as more than one character. Or maybe not. I don't know.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Hey, John.
Good to see you again.
I'm Richard. Two of my favorite episodes from your Flash were when you worked with the Nightshade.
Mine too, Jason Bernard.
Yes.
I'm still in touch with his son, Jason Bernard Jr., the late, great Jason Bernard. Yes.
Mm-hmm. My question is whereas today there is this whole superhero community, it was a big deal when you first encountered him. It was the first time you worked with someone who had been there and done that. And I wondered, what did you feel the significant was to finally meet someone else who had done that?
I'm getting goosebumps right now. It's like Jason Bernard was such an acting icon from his other roles that I felt like I was apprenticing in two ways. As an actor, John to Jason, and Flash to Nightshade. Mm-hmm. So he invested so much in the moments. I love watching that episode because you can see me. I can see me. I don't know what you can see. I can see me watching his every move, you know, and it invested it with a particular kind of energy and reality. And I loved, now I'm playing the mentor. Then I was the mentoree? The manatee? No.
The Apprentice.
The Apprentice, thank you. Got me out of that. So it was really meaningful. Now you tell me what you thought of the Deadly Nightshade episodes.
Well, I thought it was a growing period for Barry. I mean, he finally had someone to confide with. I mean, he had Tina, and later there was Megan, but they hadn't lived it. The Nightshade was the first one that was another hero, another
right.
one who had done that.
You're right.
And I think there was that bond and connected them, and I think that was when Barry really began to grow as a hero.
Yep.
Because he had that person that he could interact with and connect with.
You're absolutely right. That relationship, father-son, mother-daughter, mentor-apprentice, they're very rich and full roles to play because there's a lot of emotional content there, isn't there?
Yes.
Thank you, buddy.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Hi.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm great.
So you're talking about running around with 20-year-olds, and then back in the first show, how Mark Hamill really owned his suit.
Oh my God. I was like in shock. Here comes Mark. You know, nobody tricks the trickster. You know, it was electrifying and freeing in so many ways. But go ahead.
So whenever he came back in the newer Flash show, and y'all redid scenes in a different universe, did you try to show up and show out for the next time filming with him, or you just let him just continue being his crazy self?
Did I try to what?
Did you try to show up and show out? Do you try to up your performance from where you used to do it?
I don't think I tried to up my performance because
Or your energy, or like being
I'll tell you
comfortable?
who caused me to up my performance was Grant. Getting in that phone booth, and he was just truth all the time. So you could not hide behind a false moment. And that was so rich for me. And plus, we just connected. But for Mark and I, it was like, how special is it to come back to a project 25 years later? He had just come from the set of Star Wars, where he had done it. He got to do it twice in 1 year and participate in a meaningful way in handing it off to the next generation. And we were very conscious of it. I love what they did with the trickster. Because he was like, well, you want me to do what? You want me to be the trickster? But it's like all that insane energy had turned to poison in his veins. And that first shot that looked like he was suspended in the lotus position when we first see him was just really creepy. You know, it was great. And then they balanced it out with Devin as the young trickster. So we got that manic, crazy energy. And he got to say, I am your father.
It was amazing.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy. How are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
I am awesome.
Great. I have a question. Do you have a favorite off-camera moment with anyone in the Modern Flash cast? And if so, what is it?
The Monitor Flash cast?
Modern Flash
Oh,
cast.
modern. An off-camera moment. You know, again, it points back to Grant, doesn't it? Because all my scenes were with him in the beginning. And, you know, you probably know this already, but Grant and I both are from Norfolk, Virginia. We want them to put a sign outside at the city limit saying, home of the Flashes. And he was born we were born 8 days and years apart in January. And he was born the year that I began doing The Flash. So there were a lot of connections. He was very aware of the fact that I had played The Flash, and I was tried to be very sensitive to some of his hopes and dreams, some of his insecurities, what he might be feeling. So the father-son thing was kind of built in, wasn't it? So I remember he was, you know, and everybody, I love that soap opera audiences and comic book audiences are so invested in the history and the legacy. So everybody had an opinion at the beginning. Of course, we're so glad, you know. But he had some insecurities. And, you know, I'm so careful not to give advice, because what could be worse? They said, do you give advice to the young cast on Dawson's Creek? And I said, oh, God, I hope not. You know, that would be insufferable. But the thing I did allow myself to say, and I remembered that I'd said it when he said it at San Diego Comic-Con, very carefully weighing my words, I said, you need to know that you've been cast for the right reasons, and just trust yourself. And I have to say that was probably the most meaningful. Also, I had 2 rings made. Silver rings, custom made with a flashbolt red enamel. And at the end of the first season, I gave it to him with a note that said, "We only got one season. For here on out, it's all you."
Oh.
And
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Out of Carlos Valdez and Grant Gustin, who was more interesting or funny?
between those two?
Yeah.
And listen, when I stepped on that set in 2014, of course, we were all feeling each other out in the pilot, right? I go away for 4 or 5 episodes. I come back. I look over here. There's Jesse Martin and Grant working out a new tap routine, you know. I look over here. Here comes Tom Cavanaugh giving Carlos a ride and popping wheelies in the wheelchair. Over here, somebody's teaching somebody a song. You know, I was like, what, where have I landed? You know, it was like a creative sort of, I don't want to say insane asylum. It was all wonderful, and everybody was very serious about wanting to do the very best show that they and we, when I was there, could. But, so I can't pick one. I never know. You know the thing that's interesting about Carlos? As funny as he is and can be, he's a very serious person. There's a lot of depth there. An almost, I don't want to say that because that might offend him, but I want to say spiritual quality, almost. You know, that kind of energy that you might not expect, which makes the serious moments so effective when he plays them. Aren't they? And of course, Grant can do it all. He can sing, he can dance, he can rip your heart out one moment, he can make you laugh the next. He can just do it all. He's really a phenomenon. Yeah. So I didn't answer your question. I can't pick a favorite, but there it is. Sorry?
Just say Tom Cavanaugh.
This lady, I don't see you, but wave your hand. Oh, you said that.
Yeah.
Just say Tom Cavanaugh, he said. But yeah, Tom is also a phenomenon. Well, it's just a really good cast.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
What do you think? Carlos, you're in the, yeah, awesome.
Hi.
Hi,
I'm so glad you're here.
thank you.
So is there a character or a storyline from the new show that's only been on the new show that you would have liked to have seen on your show?
Well, I'll tell it from the perspective of Candace Patton, who is such a beautiful and intelligent young woman, you know. We were at the CW upfronts where they were selling the shows right after the pilot had first aired. And I heard this through someone else, and they said, you know, Candace just said, a very interesting thing. Our Iris in 1990 only lasted for the pilot. Beautifully played by Paula Marshall. There is a Paula Marshall at this convention, and I don't know if she's here. Different Paula Marshall. Okay, she's not in the house? Okay. But she said very perceptively, she said to a producer, she said, one thing, and this let me know she had gone back and done her homework with the original show. She said, one thing that John didn't have that would have been an important tool in his toolbox was an iris, you know? So that would have been very interesting, you know, to have had.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Hey, buddy.
Hello.
What's up?
Thank you.
Do you have a favorite part of the show besides the part where you talked to Barry through the phone at
You mean other than my role? No, I have to say, as we move forward to Jay Garrick, we had a blast when I came out of that helmet, and looked just like his dad, but I was a different person. The dialogue was originally, everyone was looking at me like I had 2 heads with the beard and everything, like they'd seen a ghost. And the line was, is something wrong? And I thought, you know, let's think about that line, because this first words I say out of the helmet, I can't come out as Henry Allen. And that sounded very Henry Allen to me. So we came up with, I came out of the helmet, I looked around, and I went, what? And immediately, that kind of set the template. I love the scene, other than the fact that Dawson's Creek was playing on the bar. I was like,
nice
I can't even
nod.
go there. Too many overlapping. Was the scene in the diner with the cup. Yeah. And I remember running those lines with this different attitude in this cold because it had been so warm and so connected. And suddenly I take a step back with a chip on my shoulder. This is my Speed Force. Don't screw it up. Are you going to change the timeline every time you have a fight with your girlfriend? What kind of superhero are you going to be? Yeah, I look like your dad. Sorry about that. And we were running lines, and Grant just put his head down and started laughing. I said, what are you laughing at, man? He said, it's just so weird playing this with you. So it was a major, major adjustment. Of course, since then, we've come together, and I felt that Enter Flash time in season 4, where we were trying to stop the nuclear bomb, when I took Kid Flash's place, Wally's place in the Speed Force, and Barry realized that Jay wasn't coming out, I really felt that we began to have our own relationship. Because Andrew Kreisberg got it exactly right. If you come out of the helmet and you're Henry Allen, where's the interest in that? And so it was really fun resetting that.
Cool, thank you.
But wait till you see this 100th episode. And I have never seen the cast this excited about a crossover. They always do these big crossovers every year, and everybody always says, yeah, I love it, I love doing it, it's exciting, it's different, but it's just so much work. Well, this year, it's like, this is the coolest thing we've ever done. Nobody got tired. We are very excited about you seeing the 100th episode leading into the crossover.
Thanks, man. Great question. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. What is your favorite line in the Flash?
New one?
Yes.
Well, my favorite line, first of all, is when I'm under the trickster's spell in the 1990 Flash. You don't know this, but maybe one day you will. Long ago and far away, there was a land called 1990. But, and we're there, and we're throwing bullets back at the police, and, he's got me mind controlled in the last episode. And at one point, the cops shoot, I catch a bullet, and I say, it's not guns that kill people, it's these little hard things. And I throw the bullet back at the policeman. That was really fun. The new show as Henry, it was when I was trying to let him know that I knew he was the Flash, and I was in the infirmary, and the Flash was on the front page, and he wasn't ready to tell me. And then I said, I didn't bust him. I didn't pull his covers. I love Henry's parenting in that moment. He said, well, if the Flash were my son, I'd tell him a few things. I'd tell him it's a dangerous world out there, so be careful. And on that his father's very, very proud of him. The director came up to me before I shot my close-up and said, you want to tell him you love him, but you can't. Roll it. And that's where that emotion came from. So that's got to be, and for Jay Garrick, it's probably, we're not gods, we're men. Men with extraordinary abilities. But we each have to decide and we all have to decide, don't we? What kind of hero do you want to be? We all have to do it for each other and ourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, John.
Hey.
So most of us know at the beginning of season 2, we were all led to believe that Teddy Sears was Jay Garrick, and you've touched on this a little bit, but at what point during the season did they tell you, like, hey, we want to bring you back as Jay? You're going to be the Flash again, John.
I figured that Henry's usefulness was coming to an end at the end of season 2. I thought I would get 1, maybe 2 seasons as Henry Allen. So I went up. I had a 4-episode arc at the end of season 2, and I thought, well, this is where we're going to say goodbye to Henry. So I was prepared for that. And so I'm having a costume fitting, and I'm putting on this brown, it looked like a prison suit, but it was shredded. It was the wrong color. I thought, were we doing a flashback with Henry in prison? And then someone said, of course you'll be fitted for the Iron Mask separately. And I was like, the what? And she was like, oh my God, you didn't hear it from me, you know? And then I'm playing on the scene, and we're in between scenes with Jesse and Grant. And Grant said, so did you hear what you're going to be doing next season? And I said, yeah, I'm the man in the Iron Mask, go figure. And they were like, yeah? That's all you know? I said, there's more? They said, you're the real Jay Garrick. I said, get out of town. I couldn't believe it. And then I texted Greg, who I've known since Dawson's Creek days. He was head writer on Dawson's Creek. And I said, so, Greg, I'm hearing these rumors about roles I may or may not be. And television making is so intense that sometimes things don't get communicated. He was like, oh, my God, I thought we had told you or asked you or whatever. He said, can I call you tomorrow? We'll have a conversation about it. Because they knew I didn't want to go in another superhero suit necessarily. But, and so he laid out this story where the end of the penultimate episode of season 2, I get killed as one character, I get revealed as the man in the Iron Mask, who turns out to be the character that y'all wanted me to play to begin with. And I was like, forget it, that's just expert channeling of fan expectation. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did.
Thanks.
What are your feelings toward a Justice Society spinoff?
At this point, as fun as this world is gone mainstream, I think it would be great.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
Good.
What got you interested in acting, having graduated from Indiana University?
Well, I didn't graduate, first of all, but we don't condone dropping out. This is not an endorsement. This is just what happened to me. I started in the opera theater department. I switched my major to theater, and then I went to New York to pursue a career. And your question was?
What got you interested in acting?
Well, first of all, I think a real formative influence is my father as a pastor, and particularly in the Baptist church, which he was in. It's all congregation participation. So having started piano at the age of 4, I was playing music in the church, and then organ, and then I began singing, and so I always knew, and I felt so fortunate that I knew what I wanted to do from a very young age when other people were trying to decide what they wanted to major in. I knew it would be some form of self-expression. It ended up to be acting. And that's what I went to New York, and those are the doors that opened. And I said, okay, I'll keep music for myself, except I sang on Guiding Light. I ran around in a Speedo. I sang You Needed Me, and then I sang You Needed Me in a Speedo, and I figured, well, where can we go from here? But anyway, I kept music for myself and really pursued the acting thing and wanted to be a serious actor. And so I studied. Bill Esper in New York. I studied with a man who was Lee Strasberg's, lived with Lee and Anna Strasberg the last 11 months of his life, so I got indoctrinated into the method, and it just went from there. It's endlessly interesting to me, to take a character and analyze it, and to get on camera with another actor who tells the truth and look at each other and see what happens. It's endlessly, and after 40 years in the business, that's still interesting to me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello there, Jay Garrick.
Hi.
My name is Jay Garrick, and I'm the fastest man alive. Okay.
What do you wish you could bring from the new show to the older show in the 90s?
Well, other than Iris, I don't know, it's just such a, as I said, I would want to play the new telling of Henry Allen, whether I had ever been Barry Allen or not. Having been Barry Allen helped me play Barry better, and then Jay. What I would bring to the old show, what I would bring is CGI. And the reason for that is twofold. Number one, it looks great. And number two, it frees up production and principal photography time to concentrate on character and relationships and heart. And I think that's one thing the new show has really gotten right,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
We got time just for a few more questions.
Okay,
so-
I'll go really fast. Come
No
on.
worries. Go ahead.
Okay, we're on the clock.
Do you have a favorite Flash villain?
Oh, the trickster. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Hi, John.
How are you? Looking good.
Thank you.
Sunny boy.
You look better. First and foremost, thank you for everything that you've contributed to the superhero community. You've been an inspiration to all of us.
Thank you. Thank you so
and
much.
Continue to be. So
Thank you so much.
my question to you, coming from the 90s as the predominant Flash on the TV, and to the 2014 series that we have today, was inspiration in the back of your mind at any point? Did you know that you would set such a standard for certain people that it would inspire others to want to follow in those footsteps, per se?
Ooh. Have it again. I had no idea. In the last scene, Mark and I were 5 a.m. in southeast Los Angeles doing the last scene. I ripped the wings off, threw them in the air, and swore I'd never get in another superhero suit because it was physically so hard. You know, Mark almost lost his mind, and he was climbing around garbage cans and over wires to get those wings. You know, he has them today. And it amazed me when it started coming into mainstream. Well, first of all, it amazed me for one season what a following that show had. And then it was released on DVD in 2006, and I began doing conventions. And then the reaction to the announcement that I would be on the new show on Twitter and social media, it really stunned me. It really stunned me. You know, that's all I can say.
Thank you so much, John.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
How are you, buddy?
How's it going? It's Brad.
Brad, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Good seeing you.
I told him to do that when he got here. Okay.
Anyway, having played the Flash in one TV show and being more of a mentor role coming into another TV show, you know, as a big fan of DC, the shows have been great. I'm hoping to see more from the movie universe. What do you think would make a great Flash movie?
I think, first of all, and this may be something I shouldn't say, but I think that the producers need to come here and talk to you guys about what it is about Barry Allen Flash that lights you up and draws you out. Because I sort of felt they just used Barry as comic relief in the DCEU movie, you know? And that's kind of Wally West to me, you know? So I think they need to talk to you guys and get a clue, get an idea, an alternate idea about what it is about the Flash character specifically, you know?
Cool. Thank you.
I love that answer. That's awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hello, John.
Hi.
I'm a huge fan. I
Thank
talked
you.
earlier. So two of my favorite scenes with you was the fight scene with you and Zavatar. And
Oh, God. Boy, did I get my butt kicked. Anyway, go ahead.
and your death with Zoom.
Oh,
was
yeah.
another one that's very epic. But the question I have for you is, last season you mentioned training another speedster.
Yeah.
Who is that speedster?
I don't know. I asked if it was Dawn.
Uh-huh.
And then a character named, I'm not sure if Nora takes the place of Dawn, and where's Dawn? You know, I'm not sure, but I hope we tell more of Jay Garrick's story going forward.
Is there any mention of introducing that speedster in this season?
Not yet, no, not yet. I don't know what's going to happen in the back 14. We just are completing we just completed the first 9. And so, who know, huh? Impulse. Well, we'll see, won't we? If you have ideas, tweet them. A friend of mine said, if you want to see it, tweet it.
You're on Instagram, right?
I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
What is it?
I'm John Wesley Shipp Jr. on Instagram because there's already a John Wesley Shipp. And I'm John Wesley Shipp verified on Twitter.
Awesome.
Cool. Thank you so much. All right, our last question right over here. What's
Hey,
your name?
Amy.
Hey, John, how are you?
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
I just have 2 very simple questions.
What?
Number 1, how long did it take you to figure out how to do that code while you were in the Iron Mask?
The what?
The code, the tapping.
Oh,
Yeah.
you want to know, very quickly, that wasn't me in the Iron Mask all season long. Nobody knew who it was. But they told that actor, whose face was never shown, studied the way 3 actors move their hands, me and 2 other actors. On the day he shot all those scenes, they said, it's John Wesley Shipp. And I tell you, when when I was watching him because I use my hands clearly when I talk a lot, and he got it down. Now, that's an actor. Face never shown, studied, and got it right.
His hands looked exactly like yours.
Yeah, amazing,
It was-
amazing.
The other question I have is, going back to Dawson's Creek, do you ever hear a song on the radio that just gives you like almost a post-traumatic stress type thing, like say, Drift Away?
Like what? You know, those were the two of the most beautiful episodes I did with my entire tenure. They made me feel like the previous 4 years had been about something. I got to tie up all my relationships with the principal cast members, and I got to really be given it's the most it was so moving, respectful send-off, one of the most moving, respectful send-offs I've ever seen for a character. But I don't have any post-traumatic stress. It was time for me to go, because the kids were going to college. We would be standing, I thought, in the background holding Lily waving at Parents' Day. And I thought, I don't really want to do that. And they gave me these 2 beautiful episodes to say goodbye.
Do you still sing while you're holding an ice cream cone?
I don't eat ice cream in the car.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, John Wesley
Thank you,
Shipp.
guys. Thank you.